All right, so we're here in Trinidad, and I'm actually at the community garden where we're actually expanding it a little bit. But first, all right, so that's the property over there with the fence around it. I'll show you that in a second, but right now we're hooking up the water. There's a well here. We don't have like city water here. So this is a well that actually is shared by the 3 houses, 1 house, 2 house, 3 houses. And yeah, so anyways, they added a connection so they can go to the 4th property, which should be right there. So we just need it for right now. We just need it for water in the garden. Obviously windy today, so I apologize for that. But yeah, so we'll hook this up and we'll go over there now, and I'll show you the rest of the property and what we're gonna try to do this week and stuff like that. All right, so here we are, we're in here. So there's the fence over there, you see it. Obviously you made it go all the way around, obviously, so you do with a fence. This is a mandarin tree. This actually is kumquat. It's like there's actually some fruit on there. But it's small, we need it to get bigger and bear more fruit because it's such a small fruit and you can't do anything with 5 kumquat. So anyways, we'll work on that. All right, so the idea, the plan is to make raised garden beds all the way across here, over there to the chicken coop. That's pretty much trash. We'll see what we're gonna do about that. Kind of thinking about replacing it with some type of like storage shed or like just a workspace or whatever. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so the main thing for now is to get the fence up. People just let their cows and stuff loose around, the cows, horses, whatever, and they would come in and they had planted stuff before, like over there and stuff like that, and they would just eat it up. And so yeah, and so it's frustrating to put time and effort into that, and you know volunteers coming from the church to do stuff, and then it gets eaten up by God knows whose cows. And so yeah, we got this up, and so now we can take it kind of to the next level that we want to take it at. So yeah, so we have a few challenges here. Is one, because of well, it's the dry season, so that's actually can be a good thing, but also works against us as well, because look how dry the dirt gets. It was watered the day before yesterday, and it just dries up because the sun is beating on it. So so what we're gonna have to do is there's a thing called like I don't know what it's called, like a sunshade type thing, where it filters, if I don't fall down first, where it kind of filters the sun coming through, but the sun can still come through. So we'll have to do that probably over this line of boxes. Then there's some plants that do fine out in the sun and stuff over there. We also need to, I'll show you in a second, these little tufts of grass. We'll have to dig a bunch of those out, and there's a ton of stuff to do. Making a mess. So anyways, yeah, we need to cover these up. It gets too dry. And it also beats the plants up. It just the UV rays are too much, yada yada yada, etc etc etc. So another thing I was talking about is like these clumps of this weed, like this one's been dug up and then burned. They burn the ground, but it's a big clump together and they're so tough, and that's why it's easier just to dig up the whole dirt. You can't see it, all the dirt around it, because it's a tough clump. But they take over, and so they're literally, it's full of those all over the entire property. And so yeah, here's some coconut trees over here. There's a bunch of them, so hopefully this will be, a nice place to produce a decent amount of coconuts. You can do a bunch of stuff with that. But the idea of this property is the reason that we bought it and we have it is to do like community-based projects. We want to build stuff for the community here. We don't have the money for that right now, and so we're not gonna be able to build for a while, and so we wanted to be able to make it productive. So like we said, why don't we expand the community garden project over to here? Because I'll show you. So way over on the other side, where that guy in the white shirt is standing, like it go over on the other side of that property is the church's property, and I'll show you that in a later video. But that's where the community garden project started. So we still have stuff growing over there, but we said, let's expand it over here and give this use while we can. And so the idea is, today we're gonna go look for some different trees and stuff to plant for the property, but we wanna be strategic with the way that we plant them. These these things grow kind of a dime a dozen. So if we're ready to build and we wanna build in this area, we'll just knock these down. It's not really a big issue. But there's other trees that take longer, they're a longer investment, and so on and so forth. And we'll probably plant them like back in the corners and like stuff like that, so that we can still have them even after we're ready to build something. So yeah, I think that makes sense, right? So yeah, that's kind of the idea. That's what's going on here right now. I actually brought some seeds. When I was flying here, you have a layover in Cochabamba. I took advantage of the layover, had lunch with Rudy's brother, Paulo, and he actually took me to buy some seeds at this place to import seeds. So we got some really cool stuff to be able to plant here that you can't find here, which is a cool idea and an idea for another project that we have to kind of bring some income into, to kind of support this and to help the whole thing. So it's kind of where we're at with everything right now. This week there's a million things that we could do, but we use my time well here. And so today we're gonna have a meeting actually here in a few minutes and decide like what do we want to focus on this week. Got an extra set of hands, whatever. I brought some tools that we can work, and so we have the tools here and we have the tools I brought, and we can get more done. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna build more garden boxes. Are we gonna dig up some of this? I mean, there's a gazillion things to do. Are we gonna plant seeds? Are we gonna do all of it? Or there's another project over there on the other side, again, that I'll talk to you about in a little bit. But are we gonna do that? There's so much to do here. It's a great thing, but it also is only so much that you can do in a short amount of time. And so, but I want to help them out as much as I can while I'm here. And yeah. So anyways, we'll see. That's where we are. So finish watering these plants and giving these beds a good soak, and then yeah, then we'll move on to the next thing.